I watched the 24 Hours of Nürburgring last week, the real one, on screen from home sadly, and somewhere while watching it with that TV direction showing more stands and sheep than they did cars some of the time. If you watch the race, you know what I mean. I felt something really unexpected. Not just excitement for the race because it was being quite interesting with all of those crashes, and not just admiration for the spectacle. I think this year probably was the best ever. I felt a specific kind of grief. I missed Assetto Corsa Competizione. It's really a strange thing to say because the game is live, you can buy it and people still race on it by the thousands. But before jumping into my online soapbox, if you like these types of videos, leave a like and a sub. Also, check out a channel sponsor, Coach Dave Academy. They have setups for ACC, iRacing, and LMU. If you are a sim racing fan, you already know what Assetto Corsa Competizione is. If you are more casual motorsport viewer, someone who watches the 24 hours for the pure spectacle of it, let me explain what made it special, at least for me. Assetto Corsa Competizione is a racing simulator developed by Kunos Simulazione, which is an Italian studio that has always had something of an artist's soul. This game was launched in full in 2019, but it was built specifically around GT racing, GT3 racing, the world of GT3 and GT4, endurance circuits, and above all, the culture of back then what was called the Blancpain GT series, which later became the GT World Challenge you can watch on YouTube today. It was, in technical terms, a simulation, physics, tires, models, fuel loads, pit strategies, all the things you'd expect. Some of them probably went way over to the top and probably not a lot of people care about it. But for me, it was something else. It was a mood. From the moment you loaded into a session, since we're talking about Nordschleife, you went to the 24-hour layout, you understood that the people who built this game had been to the race. Not just watched the race, they have actually been there. They smelled the bratwurst and spilled beer at any given camp. They heard the crowd erupt at the GT3 car threading the needle through the carousel. They seen the fog roll over the hills and watched the safety car lights come on and felt that particular tension, that held breath moment when nobody quite knows what's happened up the road. ACC captured a lot of that, and it's a very hard thing to do. The graphics were part of this, obviously. The game continues to be one of the most beautiful games ever built, especially in GT3 racing, in the way that holds up and still is better than anything else. You get rain on windshields, lightning through the fog, the way the night sessions cast long shadows across the pit lane, the volumetric fog, but graphics alone don't create the atmosphere because plenty of games, and but they look stunning but feel like nothing, especially nowadays. Competizione has done something better than any other game around, and for me, that matters a lot, especially in the context of the really 24 hours that I just watched. Kunos added real texture to the world. We're talking about roadside objects that in Nürburgring, they are not just padding to be there. You have the camper vans parked nose to tail along the fences, the food trucks, the stalls, the flags of every nation imaginable, because the 24-hour Nürburgring is one of those rare events that people travel to, that people build there actually year-round, and for me it's still the only representation, bar Evo, that makes the world feel. It really feels that there's really a real party happening. And that stuff matters. It tells you where you are. It reminds you that this is not a joke. It's not just a track. It's a place, a specific mad place in the hills of the Eifel region of Germany where mad people go to watch somewhere between 150 and 200 cars driven by mad drivers start the race. And a bunch of them, a lot of them really, will not finish for one reason or the other, and 200 to 150,000 mad people show up to watch. And well, actually this year it was 350,000 because of the Verstappen effect. ACC was able to capture this somewhat. The sad part is, as fast as the 24 hours were added, the support ended, not even 1 year later. In 2024, the year that the 24 hours were added, Kunos confirmed that the active development of Assetto Corsa Competizione was really winding down because the studio had moved to Assetto Corsa Evo, the next generation of the franchise. ACC would receive no more major updates. The licensing deals that brought in the new GT3 cars and new tracks, well, those conversations were over. You don't get many more updates over that besides some liveries for the cars. The game didn't really vanish because the servers are still there, there's still support for those servers, and people still race online in ACC every day. You can catch those races, you can go LFM and do that. And there's really something quietly beautiful about that. There's a community that refuses to let go of a game even when developers have moved on. But there's a difference between a game being played and a game being alive. ACC kind of lost its aliveness. There's no new content, there's no new partnerships, there's really no changes. It became basically a time capsule. It's a very good one. Other games do time capsules very well, like Gran Turismo, but it's still a time capsule nonetheless. Assetto Corsa, the OG, it still feels alive more than ever. And watching this year's 2026 24 hours with the new cars on the grid, new liveries, new stories unfolding through the night, I kept thinking, this could be ACC. This is the kind of thing they would have built. For me, the 24 hours of Nürburgring are like Le Mans, are like the Spa 24 hours. They're really big things. They're big events. And the obvious question here is, what is going to fill this specific void? And the honest answer right now is nothing, at least not completely, because iRacing has this track with an extraordinary platform for online racing. You get the matchmaking, you get the safety rating, and the organized series structure. You also get the community being hyped for it. You have a 24-hour race at the scale of the real thing, more or less. iRacing is probably the only platform on Earth at the moment technically capable of hosting it. The infrastructure is there. You have the community, and you get some of the feeling around it as well. But in some ways, iRacing is way too clinical. I'm not meaning this as an insult. It's really a design philosophy. The game makes everything feel sterile, and honestly, every stint feels like a sprint. Specifically, Nordschleife in iRacing is thin. It's really, really thin. You know where you are on the track, you know the corners of the names, the track is good, but you don't feel the weight of the place. You don't feel like something is going on. Other titles have their strengths and their advocates, but none of them really quite cracked what ACC cracked. That fusion of technical seriousness and artistic soul, that willingness to spend time and resources, not just on the asphalt, not just on the laser scan, but on the world around the track. Which brings me to Assetto Corsa Evo, and here's the maddening thing about this title. In some ways, it actually delivers what Assetto Corsa Competizione had. Evo has Nordschleife, the full 24 layout, and a great tourist version of it too, and Kunos, in my opinion, decided to actually improve on what they delivered in Assetto Corsa Competizione with an even more recent laser scan. But then you try to actually run like it was a 24. Evo right now is this beautiful object that doesn't quite work. I know it's early access and we've been through that. The performance demands are very harsh, not in a way that pushes everyone to enthusiast hardware, but in a way that makes smooth, consistent, raceable frame rates a privilege rather than a baseline. For the kinds of large grid endurance linked multiplayer sessions that would do the 24-hour justice, or actually just part of it, the technical ceiling drops quite fast and the game struggles under the weight of its own ambition, in my opinion. The NDI, really big point of this, is quite frankly a mess as well. You can't run a 2-lap race in it with all the AI at all, let alone a sprint, much less an endurance. ACC's AI was never perfect, mind you, but it was functional. It was raceable until it wasn't, but you could race with it. The physics are improving, generally, patch by patch, you can feel the trajectory, but that's almost besides the point right now. You can have the most sophisticated tire model in the world, and that doesn't matter if the game runs subpar with AI that drives into walls. I've said this multiple times. So, Evo is not the answer. Not yet. Maybe not for a while. Until the day that arrives that Evo is the answer, I think a lot of us will be doing the same thing. We are watching the real race, feeling that pull. Oh man, I really want to be there, and then I'm gonna open Assetto Corsa Competizione one more time, remembering what it felt when a video game made that 25-kilometer stretch of German tarmac feel like the most important place in the world. Sometimes you don't really need the 24 hours to do that. And that's what Assetto Corsa Competizione gave us. Hopefully, I think there's a reason for me, at least a fragile, cautious, but real reason to believe the feeling will be coming back. The 24 hours of Nürburgring doesn't need saving. It's doing more than fine, but the sim racing world needs its own version of those 3 a.m. moments, that particular magic, that mix of exhaustion and wonder, and the sound of racing cars disappearing into the dark. Because even though there are plenty of games that do the 24 hours of Nürburgring, or can do the 24 hours of Nürburgring, none of them knew how to build that feeling like ACC knew. Evo has the blueprint. It needs to build on it, and hopefully it delivers, because I really want to.